Starting this week and for the next 4 weeks, we are restarting our adventures in a little segment we like to call the hookup. I've got right here the Skoda Yeti, while Kailash Menon in Delhi, he's driving the A-Star Automatic. Now, when the Skoda Yeti was launched in October last year, we did test it and we gave it the thumbs up. It was a very capable off-roader, but I remember at that time thinking that even if this car's wheels never actually get off tarmac, it's still going to make a very effective city car. The reason for that is its size. When you come up close and personal with the Yeti, as compared to other lumbering SUVs, you realize that this car is really short. Just a whisper above 4.2 meters, which means that driving this car in the city is going to be quite a breeze. Now under the hood, you've got a 2-litre common rail diesel, an engine we're familiar with from the Superb and the Laura. This engine's putting out 140 brake horsepower and 320 Newton meters of torque. This is a nice grunty motor, and if you're interested, will do 0 to 100 in about 11 seconds, which is not bad for a car in this class. I've had the car with me for only about 2 days and almost immediately noticed that the NVH levels in the Skoda Yeti could be a little better. The clatter from the diesel engine does filter into the cabin, and everyone inside and perhaps even outside is going to know that you're driving a diesel. And so our hookup begins. We've set the odo at 0, and right now we're getting a mileage of about 13 kilometers to a litre.
This is the A-Star Automatic. It is powered by the same K-Series motor. It's got 4 wheels, 4 seats, and a 4-speed auto box. This is going to be my ride for the next 4 weeks, and I'm going to pretty much use it like my own car. I'm going to use it for all my sundry stuff like hitting the gym, going to the grocers, going shopping, etc., and occasionally going to work as well. And in those 4 weeks, I'm going to carefully jot down all the consumables in terms of petrol, oil and maintenance, if any, and the deliverables in terms of mileage. But you know what, I'm really curious to find out whether it's a good idea to plonk in an auto box in a small car, or whether it's just a fancy feature. So let me tell you a bit more about her. Under the bonnet, it's pretty much the same. It's the same 3-cylinder 1-litre motor that chucks out 67 horses and 90 Newton meters of torque. But here's the difference. Transferring all that torque onto the tarmac is not the manual 5-speed gearbox. Instead, it's a 4-speed automatic. So the car sure does look cute and spunky from the outside, but on the inside, I'm not a big fan of the whole grey-black combo. Also, there are a couple of down-market plasticky bits. And once you step inside, you do feel a bit cooped up and claustrophobic. I guess I'll get used to her in the coming weeks. I've had this car for only 2 days and I barely clocked 35 kilometers on it. So I can't tell you much about the mileage, but what I can tell you is that I'm no longer scared of bumper-to-bumper traffic or taking the car out during the rush hour ban, because I do know that I've got the automatic by my side, which will ensure fuss-free motoring, and it does. I have a sweat-free, stress-free drive every day.